Good morning, guys. I hope you are doing well. We are moving into day 2 of week 6. Today, I wanted to show you guys real quick before I started our read aloud the choice board. I've noticed that not as many people have been participating. I want to make sure that we know how to get to the work piece. So once you get into the choice board, you should see the directions here. If you scroll down, you'll see a button here. Yours says something a little bit different. I'm not 100% sure what it says. Maybe it says like take the quiz or start now, but you're going to click that. And once you click that, you'll see then the prompt again, and then you'll see a text box. Okay. And also the Flipgrid links. So make sure you click that button down at the bottom to get to that next part. Today we're focusing on 3 more squares for our choice board. If you'll take a look here, we're going to be focusing in on problem and solution, play it out. So this is combining what we know about dramas as well as books, and then talk it out, which we did something very similar last week. You're welcome to also go back and do any of the ones from yesterday. Just making sure that you complete one of these a day along with your read aloud from Epic. Okay, please make sure that you're logging in to do that. If you've not logged in, I'm going to be contacting you today to show you and guide you through that process. All right, guys, so we're picking up with chapter 20. So after Samar left, I felt restless. Restlessness is not a useful quality in a tree. We move in tiny bits, cell by cell, roots inching farther, buds nudging into the sunlight, or we move because someone transplants us to a new location. When you're in red oak, there's no point in feeling fidgety. Trees, as I said, are meant to listen, to absorb, to endure. And yet, just once before I said goodbye to the world, what would it be like to be something other than passive? To be an actor in the stories unfolding around me, maybe even to make things a little bit better? Bongo, I said softly, are you awake? I am now, she grumbled. I have a question. I'll get back to you first thing in the morning. How does friendship happen? Bongo responded by snorting. I could tell it was a fake snore. Her real snores are so loud they scare the baby possums. I'm serious, I said. Bongo groaned. I don't know. It just happens. But how does it happen? Friends have things in common, Bongo said. And there you go. Your answer in 5 words. See you in the AM, pal. I thought about her reply. But what do you and I really have in common? When you get right down to it. With a loud exhale, Bongo flew to the ground. Okay, I'm thoroughly awake now. Thank you very much. What's this all about? Just an idea. Here's an idea for you. Ideas are a bad idea, said Bongo, especially if someone is in busybody. If someone is in busybody mode. I'm looking at you, Red. Back to my question. Why are we friends? Okay, fine. Let me think on it for a minute. Bongo walked in a slow circle around my trunk, considering. I love the way birds move. So unlike trees. We bend with the wind. We are graceful and unhurried. Birds, on the other hand, move in flits and twitches. Their heads whip from side to side as if they've just heard astonishing news. Bongo paused. Well, to begin with, you're my home, and I'm your tenant. But that's not really a reason for us to be friends. I have residents I wasn't particularly fond of. That squirrel? What was his name? Squinch? The one with bad breath? That's not important. Knew it was Squinch. Bongo, I said, please focus. Bongo gazed up at me. We're friends because we're friends, Red. Isn't that enough? Her voice was small and sweet, not her usual get to the point crow tone. You're right, I said. But suppose 2 people needed to be friends. How would you make that happen? Maybe get them together, doing something, they yak, share a laugh, voila, friendship. Am I right? I don't like it when you leads to ideas. You can go back to sleep, Bongo. Thanks for talking. You're a good friend. Likewise. Bongo flew back up to her nest. Hey, be sure to let me sleep in. Real quick, let's pause there. I want to focus on this square right here. So what are the problems that have been introduced so far in the story, and how do I predict that they're going to be solved? Well, so far, a couple different problems have been introduced, especially, and you're going to see that in chapter books. So, the biggest issue right now is the fact that Leaf has been carved into the tree. I'm not quite sure where that's going, but I do know that that's directed at the little girl, Samar, and her family. We're not quite sure why yet. So as we read on, I think we're going to be introduced to a problem there. So we know Leave is in the tree. We're not quite sure why, but I do foresee Red trying to help form this friendship between Samar and the little boy next door because for some reason, maybe that's going to help the little girl. That's one of the issues that I see so far. The next one I see is this idea of friendship. Red's not entirely sure what makes friends or why people become friends. And so trying to figure that out so that he can then help Samar would be the next thing. Bongo, now what? One more thing. Why do you think people can be so cruel to each other? It's not like the rest of us are exactly angels. Last night, I saw Agnes eat a whole lizard in one bite. Agnes, the barn owl who lived with her nestlings in my high hollow, flapped her wings in annoyance. Hey, a girl's gotta eat, and you're a fine one to talk, Bongo, she said. Is there anything crows won't eat? My point, Bongo continued, is that the world's a tough place. Doesn't matter if you're a bunny or a lizard or a kid. With that, Bongo started snoring for real this time, but I was still wide awake. What's that horrible noise? Came the startled voice of a baby possum. That's just Bongo sleeping, her mother replied. Bongo had been right. I was hatching an idea. She'd always said I was a busybody, not to mention an optimist. An optimist an optimist. Well, there were worse things. Trees are the strong, silent type, unless we're not. Chapter 21. Bongo, I said early that morning, as the last stars faded like weary fireflies. There's something I need you to do. Does it involve potato chips? Bongo mumbled. No. Then I'd rather sleep. It's about Samar. You promised you'd let me sleep in. I didn't promise. You implied. I want to grant Samar's wish. This roused Bongo. She fluttered down to her favorite branch, the one she'd nicknamed Home Plate. Bongo likes to watch the kids play softball at the elementary school. Red, you don't make wishes happen. You're the place where wishes go. You're like a leafy garbage can, in a good way. For 216 rings, I sat on my roots and listened to people hope for things. And a lot of times, those wishes never happened. I'm guessing. Bongo tucked a feather into place. Sometimes that's for the best. Remember that kindergartner who wanted a bulldozer? I'm passive. I just sit here watching the world. You're a tree, Red. That's kind of the job description. This is a good wish, and it's a wish I can make happen. I paused. Well, we can make it happen. Yeah, I had a feeling that's where this was going. Bongo glided to the ground. Look, I heard Samar's wish. How exactly are you going to find her a friend? You'll see, I said, hoping I sounded more confident than I felt. Red, Bongo paced back and forth. With each step, her head bobbed forward. We've got more serious issues, pal. Francesca's talking about turning you into a toothpick, and your residents are frantic about where they're going to move if that happens. She came close and nudged me fondly. Of course, they're worried about you, too. I know that. Fresh baked bread poked her head out from under the porch. It was barely dawn, and the only white stripe running the length of her face was clearly visible. Remember, snakes name themselves after things that smell good. It's not snakes, skunks. I've offered to take in one of the tree families temporarily, she announced. Preferably the possums. They're better behaved than the ewes. That's very generous of you, Fresh, I said. But I was interrupted by Big Ewe, the mother of the 3 raccoon babies. She was in my large hollow, grumbling under her breath. I beg your pardon, she exclaimed. You, and you have excellent manners. They're too inquisitive, said Fresh Baked Bread. Always poking their noses where they shouldn't be, grabbing things with those little paws of theirs. Well, at least they don't stink, Big U cried. And your children have paws, last time I checked. Harry Spiders, the mother possum, peeked out cautiously from her own hollow. Possums name themselves after things they fear. Stink is in the nose of the beholder, said Harry Spiders. And while I personally think your children have a delightful odor fresh, I already got dibs on the woodpile 2 doors down. Should anything happen to dear Red, she patted me. No offense, love. Just thinking ahead, you know. No offense taken, I assured her. I saw that pile first, Big U cried. Share the skunkton, Harry Spiders said. I wouldn't be caught dead in that place, Big U exclaimed. Not now, now that I know my inquisitive children aren't wanted. Well, they are a bit boisterous, said Harry Spiders. At least my children have spunk, said Big U. Your kids faint when they see their own shadow. Playing possum is a useful adaptation, said Harry Spiders, her pink nose twitching. The world is a dangerous place, and in any case, we can't control it. It just happens. If I may interrupt, came a cool voice from my highest branch. It was Agnes. There is a nice looking Leyden tree 2 blocks away, just vacated by a gray squirrel family. We're looking at it as a possibility, but there's a tomcat that runs loose there. Collar, no bell, that's an issue. Also, a big slobbery dog. In fairness, all dogs are slobbery, Bongo observed. I really think you should all calm down, I interrupted. Let's not buy trouble. One day at a time, my friends. Who knows what tomorrow may bring? The mothers glared at me. I heard a great deal of sighing. Too much, wise old tree, I asked. Too much, wise old tree, Bongo confirmed, as everyone retreated into their homes in a huff. They're all a bit tense, Bongo said, worried about your situation. I can see that. I'm worried too, Bongo said in an almost whisper. I know, I said gently, but every cloud has a silver red, Bongo interrupted. Sorry, there must be something I can do, Bongo said. You're a good friend, Bongo, but sometimes all you can do is stand tall and reach deep. Red, sorry, I said again. What will I do without you, Red? Bongo said softly. You'll be fine, my friend. I promise. We both fell quiet. At last, Bongo shook herself, feathers fluffing. In any case, maybe not the best time to be granting wishes, is my point. Seems to me this is exactly the right time, I replied. Bongo groaned her little old man groan. She knew I wasn't backing down. And with that, we began to plan. All right, guys. So again, today, 3 more scores have been opened up. These ones down here are not open, so don't try the bottom row. The top ones are. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, don't forget to click on and make sure you go down to this button down here to get into the actual text box and the Flipgrid. All right, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys